Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well and you're having a wonderful day and enjoying the rest of your summer. I'm Michelle Merrix with Reclaim the Confident You. And today I'd like to talk to you about a neat kind of story that happened about a little over a year ago. But it's the season where girls are going back to school because, as you know, I'm a female confident coach. So what I do is I take women who are feeling stuck in life. You're feeling stuck at a certain phase in life, and I help to move you forward and feel your most confident, wonderful self, feeling good about who you are, and teaching you, I call them tools in your toolbox, of different tools to feel good and how to think about yourself and how to feel really good about who you are. And with school going back, there was a story that came to my mind and I wanted to share with all of you. So as I share this, I'm going to use an example of, if you've watched any of the shows before this, you will know that within your own mindset is something, or there's a situation in life. And that situation in life you can look at 100 different ways. But with that situation in life, the very first thing that happens about a situation is we have a thought. And that thought then becomes an emotion. How do I feel? So we have emotions and feelings over how we think about something that has gone on or happened. And then we take action. And that action equals a result. So I was in Subway here in Wadsworth about a year and a half ago. And I walked into Subway and there were two girls who were working. And both wonderful and darling. When you walk in, if you know, in Subway, hi, how are you? Are you having a good day? They're always super friendly. And I go to Subway and I like to stay and eat my lunch because I catch up on the phone and, you know, it's something peaceful to do. So I go to Subway, order my sandwich, I do all this, I sit down. And another couple people come in and they leave because they're getting to-go orders. So the next thing I know is I'm sitting there and I'm the only customer in the store, and I'm with the two young ladies who are working in the back. And what happens is a guy walks in, who's a young man, walks in, and he's tall, and he wants to talk to the one gal who's working behind the counter. And I, of course, can overhear everything because I'm the only one in the store. So what he had to tell the young lady was that he had lied to her, and he obviously was behind the girl's back. He was with another girl, whether they went out, what have you. And the girl behind the counter starts bawling. She starts crying. And she says, I cannot believe you've lied to me. And she threw a few curse words in there as well, because she really just couldn't believe it, that obviously something had happened, they'd had a fight or what have you. And what that really meant was, at that moment, a girl's confidence has been knocked down, okay? And it was knocked down by a boyfriend who had gone behind her back. So instantly she feels lousy. But this girl is crying and she says, I just cannot believe you lied to me. And the guy walks out and I don't get to hear everything, but what I assume is he broke up with her. And he turns around and he walks out the door. So she's crying and she's saying some curse words, and she needs obviously to take a timeout. She needs to take a break. And she goes and sits down in one of the booths that's right by the corner. And the other girl wraps some things up and she comes and sits beside her because this girl is very upset. And being a confidence coach for women and knowing that she's a young woman, I am done with everything. I go to put everything in the trash can. And of course I say to myself, I'm not going to walk away from this situation and not say a word. So I walk over to the booth and the look on her face was kind of like, oh goodness, is this lady, or, you know, is she going to tell me that I shouldn't have said some cuss words? I shouldn't, you know, I should not have done that. And I said, can I sit at your booth with you? And I looked at her and I looked at her friend across the booth, and she said yes. And huge crocodile tears are flowing down. And I said, thank you. And the gal sat, you know, she moved over for me, the friend, and I was directly across from the gal who obviously at this point just had her heart broken. And she just couldn't believe what had happened. or that someone who she had put so much trust into had lied to her. But at least he did finally come to fess up. I have a feeling that he was at a point that that's the only choice he kind of had because he was cornered. But I said, I need you to look at me in the eye, and I'm going to tell you something that I want you to always, always remember. And she said, what's that? And I said, you're too pretty to cry. And she just looked at me, and I said, you don't need to cry, and your tears don't need to flow. And this goes for every girl that you will ever meet. And I looked at her friend and I said, and this goes for you too. If I can share with you that what pretty means is you're pretty on the inside. It's who you are internally. Beauty is inside. You may be the most beautiful girl in the world. You could be Miss Universe. You could be not so the most beautiful girl in the world where you feel you're quirky and there are different things that bother you. But the truth is your beauty is on the inside, and your kindness and who you are, knowing your confidence, but knowing your self-worth. And as this happened with this boy, I said, understand, I don't know what happened here. I have a pretty good idea of what happened, and I know you're really upset. However, there is something you must always know, and that is your self-worth. And you will always be responsible for your self-worth. There will be boys that come and boys that go, and you will go off to college because I think she was in her senior year of high school, but you're going to go to college and there are going to be other people and there are going to be friends that are going to hurt your feelings. And I'm sure you've already been through it that once you're at this age. But know your self-worth. Have boundaries for who you are, what you will accept and what you will not accept. And always know that you will not settle. You will not settle for that behavior that just happened from this boy. You should never, my advice would be, is to go back out with him again, because what you deserve is better. And she just looked at me and I said, it comes down to you're too good of a person. You're too pretty to cry. And there's no reason to accept anything other than something up-leveled for you. And you come first, and always know your worth. And that's what I say with every woman that I talk with, and that's why I coach women to know your confidence and know your self-worth, and to claim or reclaim who you are as a woman, and to be independent, and to feel good about who you absolutely are. And this I call her a little girl because she was tiny, and she stood up and she said, can I hug you? And I said, I would love for you to hug me. And she gave me a big hug and she said, thank you so much. And I said, know that you're better than that situation that just happened. And the good part is that situation that happened, now you know in your future that's something you don't have to put up with. And it's okay that you protect yourself, you protect your heart, you protect your inner soul, and you know that people will come out and people will try to hurt you, but also know who you are. So if we took this situation and we changed it around for her, because at that time she obviously was feeling lousy. And here's the biggest thing with women. She at that very moment felt, I am not enough, because if I were enough, he would not have done what he did to me. But the truth is, it had nothing to do with her. It had to do with him, and he could have sat her down before he ever went out with another girl, etc., and said, listen, this is where I'm at, and this is how I want to handle it, and I'm sorry, I think you're a wonderful person, but I want to go out with someone else. But that didn't happen. So in order for that happening, it sets her up for the next time someone comes at you to hurt you. And again, when you're young, you're going through experiences for the first time. But this is what I had to do while I was there, and I wasn't going to walk out the door. We took a situation that happened. There's always a situation. And a situation overall is general because the situation is a fact. It has happened. You can't change it. She can never go back and change the fact that the boyfriend she had went out with someone else behind her back. And she found it humiliating. And she found it, why aren't I enough? The truth is, she is enough. And her thought process was, why aren't I enough? Why would he cheat on me? What's wrong with me? And then her action or her emotion on that is she's very sad and she wants to cry because she feels like she's not enough, and it was humiliating. And then the action she took, of course, was anger. And then if you become that way and you're very angry, there's always a result, a consequence of something that's a good consequence or a good result, or a consequence that is not a good result. So what ends up happening of a good result or bad result really is your choice of what happens. And in that happening, you can change your thought process because the thought will always equal the result. So when we got to change your thought process of you don't ever have to settle, you'll never settle, is okay, I am good enough. It wasn't me. And lucky me, I now can go find someone or be with someone who will appreciate me for who I am and respect me for who I am. Now my emotion is I feel better and I feel confident about who I am, and I know my self-worth and I know my esteem. I have good self-esteem. And the action then becomes a little different. And I got to know the restaurant about 3 weeks later. And when I came back 3 weeks later, I saw her again. She was there working. And I said, there's my girl. And she kind of looked at me like, you look familiar. And I said, you're too pretty to cry. And she goes, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how I told all my friends what you told me and how good you made me feel. And she goes, you know what? I realized really quick, I am better than him, and I don't need that in my life. She goes, and I'm just so happy. And she came around and gave me a hug again. And I haven't seen her ever since, but I was so thrilled that I felt I was meant to be there at that time when that happened in her life. Because I wish someone would have done that for me years ago. And I wish that I could do that for every girl her age across the board that happens to. And we all get our hearts crushed, including boys get their hearts crushed from girls. But it just happens to be the fact I'm a female coach. So then what happens is as we become older, we still can think that same way. Why aren't I enough? You know, is it a job loss? Is it I'm stuck? I am in a phase that I'm stuck. It doesn't mean my life can't be wonderful and move on, but I am stuck. And what I help you do is become unstuck and feel good about exactly who you are, know your empowerment, know your confidence, and know that you are always enough, and feel good about who you are, about exactly who you are, and you don't have to change for anybody at all. So this was the point that I want to get across. And it's always your thoughts, and let's be very mindful about our thoughts and things that happen. To all the young ladies out there that are going back to high school, that are going back to college, maybe that are changing a new job that's coming up, and for any ladies of any age, you are enough and love who you absolutely are. I thank you so much for spending time with me today. I look forward to seeing you again. You'll see up on the screen that a way to reach me. I would love for you to come to my Facebook. It's under Michelle Merrix, and you can personally Facebook friend me. And then I also have more continued information for you to talk about, learn about. A lot of my clients are just a lot of people who are on my Facebook. It's nice because they'll pop in their AirPods or what have you, take a walk, and just listen to things about confidence and about who you are. And if you're looking in your life to become unstuck about a phase that you're in right now and move on to be your most confident self and move on in your life, I'm here for you. So again, I'm Michelle Merrix. You can reach out to me, and I look forward to seeing you the next time here with WCTV. Thanks. I hope you have a great day.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.